Hi, I'm Sarah Swinwood, and I'm here with the film Recommended by Enrique. I live in Montreal. A lot of people ask me what my comedy style is, why I do comedy, and in many ways I think I'm more of a storyteller. I'm more of a teacher and a speaker. I love people, and so my comedy style is not to alienate the audience or, hey, look at that guy in the red, isn't that ridiculous? And everybody laughs and points at the guy in the red. I don't like that style. I like to talk about long lineups at the grocery store, or running into someone at the pharmacy, or how terrible the Greyhound is, sorry Greyhound, but it's all everyday things that happen. So whether it's through stand-up or web series and video, I think it's really about not taking ourselves too seriously and taking serious things and mirroring it back to people and showing this is silly, but this is what we talk about every day. And a lot of the times it's things that annoy us. Like we're at the PA, which is a grocery store here in Montreal, and we're like, this is waiting in line, and then a song, an intimate love song comes on and someone catches your eye and you're like, oh, this is not our soundtrack right now. And so the film opens up with a YouTube video of me talking about my life being in shambles. I think it's an Australian accent, but most people tell me my Australian accent sounds more Kiwi, but I think that's also what was funny about that video. I just repeat, my life was in shambles. My life had been in shambles. Since using the law of attraction, my life is no longer in shambles. And the ridiculousness of this is that it comes from something real, where, you know, the whole self-help movement is all about my life was falling apart and now it's not falling apart because, and even though I do in real life align with that, the video is ridiculous because when you repeat something over and over, you see the ridiculousness in it. And that's an actual video that I had done that they had seen, and they said, can you take it off your YouTube? We're gonna put this in the film. Joan Didion said, we tell ourselves stories in order to live. And I think the awesomeness about this film and seeing people's vulnerability is that when you see these actors in the film, the actress and the cowboy, when you see them alone, they both have their things that they do. Whether it's her doing her cards and saying her affirmations, or him doing his stretches and just putting beer on ice. Those are the stories we tell ourselves that create who we are or who we think we are, that keep us from losing our minds, I think. I think that it shows the psychosis that people have through their repetitive habits and behaviors, but then it shows the vulnerability in that if they stop doing that, they feel like they lose themselves. So they're kind of solidifying their characters through repeating these actions, and it seems silly, but it's so personal and it's so unique, and I think that's what's endearing about it, whether it's right or not. These stories we tell ourselves give us a place on the earth, give us individuality, or connect us with ourselves and then our surroundings. Another thing that was somewhat challenging for me is that this film is all about this kind of spooky mysticism of this town, and the teenagers think, oh, there's some kind of curse on the movie, and yet you see this girl and she's really sort of committed to her own practice of doing affirmations and being in her hotel room and putting her own spin on things. At one point they gift her with something and she takes it back to the room and she gets a water bottle and sprays it and kind of waves a feather and does a bird whistle. And I mean, my family saw the movie and they were just losing it at that part, because that is something I would normally do. And I had someone comment, that's something we all do. We all kind of have our personal moments where we try and put our own take on things, or put our own energy into things so that we feel a part of what's going on. And I think in a way that's a way of protecting, and in her way it was, even though they were kind of trying to scare her, she's keeping herself protected by staying grounded in her methods and her ways and putting her own spin on it, on what the gift they gave her. Instead of it being cursed, she brings it back and says, okay, I'm gonna put my own energy on this. And I think, again, the viewer may see that as being weird, but it's a very intimate and personal thing that people do. I think we do it in our own way. And c'était vraiment un plaisir être ici pour le FNC dans Montréal. C'est une opportunité pour moi de pratiquer le français et rencontre des gens qui font des films vraiment beaux et je vous remercie beaucoup, Montréal.